Here we go again. A lunatic drives his truck into a church vacation Bible school on Sunday, June 22nd, 2025. He gets out of his car. He's got a tactical vest on, a rifle, a pistol, and he starts shooting. He's 31 years old. We'll talk about today what happens next and the ending of this scenario. Church safety is very important. Thanks for watching and listening to the SAFESECURE 360 podcast. There's safety in numbers.
Lieutenant Robert Henry is an honorably retired law enforcement commander from Houston with over 35 years of public service experience. I'm Daniel Ziegler. I've been asking questions all my life, and on this show, I do my best to ask the questions that the public would like to know the answer to. The SAFESECURE 360 podcast is intended to provide you, the listener, with information about current events and ongoing societal challenges to help make your life safer. Thank you for listening. This is the SAFESECURE 360 podcast. There is safety in numbers. Well, Robert, thanks for sitting down and talking with us today. This is another incident. We've talked about these a lot, and it's so disheartening to hear each one that comes, but here's another example of someone using religious terrorism in a way to hurt people that are associated with a spiritual belief. In this case, it was a church, Cross Point Community Church in Wayne, Michigan. Like you said, it was Sunday, June 22nd, and a guy drives his car into a church, gets out with a tactical vest and guns, and starts firing on the church. Luckily, there were members of the church there that were prepared for this. There were two armed church security staff, and then another parishioner in the driveway that saw what was happening. And the guy got in his car and ran over the shooter, giving the security staff the ability to shoot the suspect who died on the scene. This is a chaotic and probably faster than any of us can imagine incident that happens. Can you help us understand what that might have felt like for the people there, and how were they prepared for this? How did they know what to do?
Put yourself in that situation. It's a Sunday vacation Bible school. There's 150 people, children and adults present in this church building. Next thing you know, here he comes, and he smashes his car into the side of the church, jumps out, and starts shooting. Do you have a policy about this? Have you thought about an active shooter at your church? A lot of our clients hire us just for that purpose. Intruders and active shooters. They're two of the highest threat level things that we consult about. So, luckily, it appears that there were several adults who were in Vacation Bible School who were armed. And these adults, seeing this happen, engaged this shooter and attempted to stop him by firing at him with pistols. They were apparently ineffective in the beginning. Another adult that's there in a car sees all this happening in front of him, and he had the wherewithal and made a very good decision. He ran over the shooter with his car. He's a hero. He stopped what could have become a massacre, perhaps. He used deadly force to stop another's imminent use of deadly force intended to cause serious bodily injury or death, as he protected a third person, the other people. In Texas, that sounds to me like a really good ending. He ran over him. The other parishioners came out The guy was still armed and still a threat, shot him and stopped him from being a threat anymore. Luckily, minor injuries and not a traumatic outcome. What is your church policy about weapons? Do you have a security team? Are they trained and oriented about how to respond collectively? Or could it turn into a circular shooting gallery where everyone's shooting from different angles with no plan, and now you have injuries or death to others because they did not have a plan about how to use deadly force to stop another from using deadly force. So it's important to have a policy about firearms, a policy about your security team, training for them, qualifying with their weapons and demonstrating proficiency with their weapons, very important. And have an awareness, not a fixation, but an awareness that things like this, they just continue to happen more and more and more. Different methods, different means, but they all have the same agenda: to harm or kill others in these religious or worship settings.
So a church policy, when you say policy, you also mean the training that goes along with that. A church policy and training of its staff helps the staff know what to do in situations that are included in the policy. What you're saying is that a church active shooter policy might outline some steps that the staff could take if this happens. And you talked about a circular shooting gallery where if your staff, let's say you arm some people of your church and don't train them, there can be disastrous results. It can be worse than not having that. So how does a church develop a policy that is guided well, trained well, and executed well so that they can continue to provide safety and additional safety rather than another unpredictable outcome? How do they develop their policy to do so?
Our company writes policy. We do assessments on churches and schools all over the state of Texas. Our website proudly displays our clients, very large clients that we deal with. You have to think about this ahead of time. You have to plan for different scenarios. Your safety and security policy may not just be active shooter, 0 to 100. It can be things that are less: power outages, industrial accident, something blows up or explodes, a unpredictable weather event, an intruder on campus, other things, a police chase entering your area. Other things are less than 0 to 100 in intensity, but if you have a policy and you've thought about this and you've trained your staff and you've oriented them, then you're in a much better place for survivability. If you do not, then you have a reaction, unpredictable results versus a response that is planned, practiced, and implemented in crisis.
If you're a member of a church, who would you talk to, or how do you have the conversation with the leadership of the church? What kind of thing would you say to say, do we have a security policy here? Do we have a safety policy? How do you go about having that conversation?
Isn't it unusual that a lot of these church shootings and violent events at worship, places of worship, are in the news cycle for a very short time? I mean, you just don't hear about them because the media decides what you should see and pay attention to and be concerned about. And I think the media, unfortunately, looks for big numbers in casualties before it's a big deal to them. How unfortunate. One injury, one death, one loss, way too many. So I think that learning from these experiences and then developing your policy to consider these types of events and the possibilities that could come from this is very important. And that's what we do for our clients.
We talk about the policy being a living document that evolves. So as churches see things that are in the news, a healthy leadership might let its parishioners come talk to them about it and develop that policy together as new things come up. Why is it that you've talked about these active shooters a lot as this is a mental health crisis? There are lots of causes of these, but really what they all have in common, it's no longer one type of person that's doing these. It's just that all of them are suffering a mental health crisis. Help us understand a little bit about what is going on between mental health with these people. What can we do? Why is it churches? It's hard to grasp how this all works together.
I believe that if you are a person who goes to a church armed with a firearm, wearing a bulletproof vest or bullet-resistant vest, and you start shooting people, you are mentally ill. That's what I think. It may be transitory. It may be motivated by politics. It may be motivated by religious powers that are telling you what to do. You may have impulse control problems that you cannot stop this from happening. You may have written a manifesto. You may have suicidal thoughts at the end of this, however it works out. It is mental health driven to engage in this type of behavior. It is poor mental health. It is a breakdown in a person's ability to even think of some of these things that have happened. In Houston, we've certainly had our share of them. Here in Texas, Colorado has really had a lot of them. So I think it's important, if you're a parishioner or if you're a member of a church or worship place, that you talk to leadership and say, hey, what is our policy? Do we have a safety policy? If we don't, we should have one. Can I help you develop one? Or I want to play a role in this to make us safer. What can I do? And then balance the answer from the leadership of the church or worship facility as to what steps are next to increase your chances of survivability in these unpredictable events.
We have made flip charts. They're more commonly used for teachers. These flip charts are a quick summation of a policy and then the steps of what to do. Could these flip charts, like in case of a fire, you would flip to your page, there'd be a flip chart in every room. You'd flip to a page and then follow the steps that say fire. Can churches use this kind of tool in the church, and how would that look?
Absolutely. Anytime there's accumulated numbers of people, you have risks for fire events. You have risks for medical events. You could have a diabetic scenario. You could have a cardiac scenario. You could have a slip and fall. You could have a lot of things happen. And being able to summarize in an 8.5 by 11 square laminated plastic document that has tabs that are labeled fire, smoke event, shelter in place, run, hide, fight, active shooter, intruder on campus, being able to flip to those and have a 1, 2, 3, 4 steps that you should take immediately is a great idea. We develop those specifically for our clients dependent upon their needs, and they're very effective in a time of stress and crisis.
Well, thank you all for watching and listening. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to our channel and click the like button on this episode. This will keep you up to date with what we're up to, and it will help our channel grow and reach new people. Like we always say, there is safety in numbers. Another thing that pops in my head as you're talking about this, it's important to remember that a safety, like you said earlier, a safety policy isn't all about 0 to 100 active shooter. You have brought up the idea of a medical go bag for churches. I think now's a good time to talk about it. Tell us about the medical go bag and what the system and policy that would go around it for a church service.
Years ago, for my church, I started thinking about this, and I thought, well, there's several hundred people that attend this church. Some of our churches in Houston have several thousand people, right? So all ages, infants all the way to very elderly people. Some are mobility challenged. Some are visual challenged, auditory challenged, language challenged. Those folks all present new ways that we have to give special emphasis to help them, right? So I thought about that and said, look, if we have 400 people in our congregation, I wonder how many of them are nurses, EMTs, doctors. How many of them are police officers? But really the medical emphasis is on EMTs, nurses, really those two. Doctors certainly provide a special role too, but these nurses and EMTs, they are very effective in the immediate on-scene diagnosis, triage, and treatment of people who are experiencing an emergency medically. So we polled all of our group, and guess what? There were 17 doctors, and there were 47 nurses, and there were 12 EMT people. And we said, hey, look, will you volunteer one Sunday a month to be our on-call medical person? Yes, I will. All right. We're going to give you an earbud and a radio so you can listen to our security channel that we're on. And then if we have a medical need, we will identify the area where they are. Could be the nursery, could be a Sunday school class, could be the main congregation, but could be anywhere on the campus. And then we will ask you to meet us and come with us to that event to be able to take a look and see what's going on and provide care. All right. So now we have that part done. All right, here's the second part. I developed a medical on-go bag. It's like a big canvas bag, and inside that bag we have first aid equipment, but some exaggerated ones, more advanced. We have a very advanced first aid kit for slips, falls, strains, sprains, things like that. We have a tourniquet or multiple tourniquets in case of a shooting. We have Narcan. In case of some type of allergic reaction or a medically challenging event with narcotics. We have EpiPen for some type of reaction also. We have stethoscope. We have blood pressure cuff. We have some small splints. We have some diabetic medication to raise blood sugar. We have other types of things that these medical professionals have suggested to us that you include. That bag is kept in an usher's closet or kept somewhere that they can get to it. And so when the call goes out, the volunteer gets the bag and comes to the location of the incident. Now, remember, some of these incidents will be resolved. They'll be treated and taken care of, and the patient will be released, and there will maybe some follow-up with their own doctor. Some of them will not be, and they will need advanced medical care, emergency services. So in the interim of treating someone initially, we're going to get ready for 911, and we're going to get ready for either an ambulance, and sometimes when I ask our churches or our schools, where would you land life flight or aerial helicopter ambulance, they look at you strange, and what do you mean? Well, if we had a mass casualty event or we had some event that we needed to fly people out of here, where would you do that from? So I think stabilizing with our medical go bag and our volunteer personnel just makes sense. They like doing it. They provide a very valuable service. They're professionals. And I think that's the best, quickest care you can get versus 911 only. Don't touch them. Don't move them. I saw on a television show you're not supposed to move someone. Well, let these professionals get involved and provide that initial care. They may not move them. They may not touch them, but they may. So I think that simple process can lead to good outcomes.
It certainly can. It's another thing about being prepared for something that the likelihood of a sprain is much higher at a church than the likelihood of an active shooter. So being prepared from from little things up to the big things it seems like the right way to go.
SAFESECURE 360. We are a security consulting group located in the Woodlands, Texas. We assist our multiple clients by reducing the risk, loss, and reputation impact. We also do full security assessments on their facilities, large churches, large private schools in Texas, and we want to help you. Take a look at our website, SAFESECURE360.com.
What I've heard you saying, I always try to think about what can the public that's watching this learn from this event rather than just rehashing the news. I like the show because we talk about something you could learn and think about. And if more people thought correctly, we could have a more prepared world that would be more ready to activate when it's time. So what I've heard you say so far is that a healthy church with a great leadership would have a strong policy that trains its employees, staff, and the people coming to the church on what to do in case of situations that come up. An idea of a medical go bag's a really great idea just to further help let professional helpers help people. And then if you're going to have an armed security staff, training would certainly be the right thing to do with that. Are there any other ideas that you'd like to express to the public about this incident or about, and when we say church, we mean place of worship of any kind. Any other ideas about these that would help people understand this or they could take away from?
Churches and places of worship, by their nature, are designed to provide rest and respite, a learning environment, a place to reflect and meditate, perhaps. So when the congregation is in place, let's say in the main sanctuary or worship area, and they're all facing one direction and they're listening and they're very quiet and they're in prayer, they're in thought, it is very difficult to be attuned or aware of things around you. So it's very important that if you have a church safety staff, that they are trained as the protectors of the congregation to be aware of certain things that may occur and then take appropriate response. Policy development about how you address certain things is very important. So if you have that policy, you're trained in it, you're oriented to it, it makes sense, it's easy to understand, and you've practiced it, you are in great shape. Now, things change. We built a new building, or we did something different, and now no longer the policy says go to building A. It's no longer there. Building B is there now. So as that campus changes, as those procedures change, so do the living document of the policy change as well. So as long as you're aware that the document needs to be updated as you change things, you're in good shape.
Well, thank you for all the information, Robert. Thanks for your time. And for all of you at home watching or listening to this, thank you. If you need help with policy, you can hear us talking about it. We like policy. We develop policy, we rewrite it, we can make it from scratch or help make what your policy is better for you. Just reach out to us. Go to SAFESECURE360.com. You can see a list of our services. You can see a list of our clients. We'd be happy to have you talk to them about how their policy improved from us. So thank you so much for watching. We hope you learned something today. And let's get an informed group of people that are all thinking ahead about things. That would be a wonderful world. Like we always say, there is safety in numbers. This is the SAFESECURE 360 podcast. Thank you. This is the SAFESECURE 360 podcast. The information provided in our podcasts is for general information uses only and is not intended as legal advice. The views and opinions expressed by the guests are their own. Always consult with a qualified professional before making safety and security decisions. For more information about this topic, check out our website at SAFESECURE360.com.